Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, we are going to look at EJS partials. Partials are a way for you to take some HTML, for example, this right here, pull it out into a separate file and just import it. The reason we want to do this is because at the top of all of our HTML or our EJS files, we're going to have this same stuff. We're going to start with HTML, we're going to have a head, we're going to have a body, we're going to have links inside the head, we're going to have a title, we're going to have all this stuff that is pretty much the same. So instead of having to type this out in every single file that we do, we can pull it out and just import it like a variable. And that way, whenever we want to make a change, like for example, if we want to change the location of our CSS right here, if we want to change the title, we just change it in one place instead of 30 places. This is also super useful for things like nav bars that you see at the top of websites where there's like this nav bar that goes across every single page. That's another excellent use case for partials. So the way this works is we're going to shut down our server because we're going to create some new directories. So inside of views, so I'm going to cd into views. Inside of views, we're going to make a new directory called partials. So make dir partials. And this name is just arbitrary, it's just something made up. You'll see partials a lot because that's kind of the convention, but it can be named anything you want. So inside of partials, we're going to make two files. Touch partials / header.ejs, and we're going to do footer.ejs. And this is just going to go at the top and the bottom. And again, these names are entirely arbitrary. It's just there so I can know, hey, this goes to the head, and this goes to the foot. So inside of our views directory, we now have a partials directory. And we have a footer and a header. So let's go ahead and make our header. Open that up. And in the header, these are the things that are going to go at the top of every single HTML file. We're just going to take this stuff. Everything up until the opening body tag. And I'm going to cut that out and paste it into the header. Save the header. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the footer. Now, as of right now, the only thing that we would include in the footer are the HTML and the body. So let's put that in there like that. And right now, our customers.ejs is very small. Let's go ahead and expand that so we can see it, but it's very small. It no longer has any of the boilerplate stuff because that's been pulled out into the header and the footer. Now all we have to do is tell EJS, hey, import that header and that footer. The syntax to do this is pretty straightforward. It's got that same scriptlet tag looking things, but this time you use a hyphen. Not an equal sign, but a hyphen. And then include, and this is just a function that you would call, and you give it a name. Partials / header. And then you close your EJS tags. Now let's look at the anatomy of this real quick. This has the opening tag that has that hyphen, then you're including and you're passing in the location of your header right there, and it's inside the partials directory, so by default this will look in views. So it checks in views, and then it looks in partials, and then it looks for header. And you do the exact same thing at the bottom for the footer, except obviously instead of header, you put footer. So let's save, start our server. Oops. Gotta go up a level. Our server is running. Let's refresh our customers page, and it still works. And if we inspect it, we can see that it does indeed have that HTML. It has the head with the title and our style sheet. It has the body tag, even though it's no longer in this file because we put it in the header. And let's just update the footer real quick, just to kind of demonstrate that. Let's add, a lot of times you'll see contact information at the bottom, so you might put something like email is my email at email.com. So let's refresh this page, close that down, and you can see that it has indeed been added to the bottom of that page. Even though it's not in this customers file, which is what's being rendered here, because we're including those partials, it builds it that way. This way, if we ever want to change anything in the header or in the footer or anything like that, we only have to change it in one place. We don't have to go through here to each of these separate files and change it. As it looks right now, that doesn't seem too bad. All we would have to do is open up each of these 3 files and make a couple changes. In the real world, web applications get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different files, of different views, of different partials, of different everything, so it becomes very cumbersome to make small changes in every single folder, every single file. That's why this partials thing is so important. That's why the fact that you can add a footer, a header, a nav bar, or anything else you want, a copyright information, anything like that, anything you want like that, you can. You can include that as a partial and simply include it here in each of your files, and then you don't ever have to touch this again. You just have to make changes in those individual partials. So let's go ahead and make this same change to the products and the username. So I'm just going to copy this, open up products. We don't want any of that. Instead, we're just going to paste that. We don't want any of that. We're just going to paste that and put footer. And that's products, so let's see if that worked. Products. That's 404. In my app.js, what do you have to go to get to products? /products/ID. So /products/ whatever. There we go. So it is indeed working. Is it treats? Yeah. So we see that that is indeed working. And then inside of username, let's do the same. Get rid of all of that and all of that. Change that to footer. In app.js, where do you go for it's users/username? So go to users/jbastean. My username is my email at email.com. So you can see that it's working. Because all username right here is rendering, by the way. It's just my username is. It's not actually doing the actual username. We could add that if we wanted to. Just get a little bit more practice with EJS. Let's go ahead and just do that real quick, just as kind of a bonus. Username equals jbastean, and you could obviously put whatever you want. Then we're going to pass that in as an object, username, using the shorthand. So instead of doing username equals username, const username. Instead of doing username equals username, you can just do it the one time using that ES6 shorthand. And inside of the username, my username is, add our EJS tag equals username. Save and refresh. So now I've got that username passed in. Because I'm not getting it from the route, this could be anything we wanted, but you see how it works. In this video, we looked at how to include partials in EJS files in order to dry up our code and make it so that we only have to write things in one place instead of multiple places. This allows us to get rid of all of the boilerplate from our EJS files and just put that in one place, and all we have to do is import it. This will be especially helpful as our boilerplate starts to grow and grow and grow as we include more things inside of our head or more things. If we had a nav bar or anything like that, this will make our life much easier. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. Thanks.